Hello, everybody, and a very warm welcome to you today to our CEO for 1 month podcast. So I have with me today, I'm very, very lucky to have with me three former CEO for 1 month winners. And they are Lisa, Laura, and Brandon. And before I hand over to them to really tell you everything you need to know about the CEO for 1 month program, I'm just going to ask you, if you're in the audience today, if you have any questions, if you'd like to put them in the chat, and we'll manage them that way. So anybody who's got a question gets to ask their question. So first of all, I'm going to ask the three former winners to do a quick intro and then tell us what their name is, what year it is that they won, and what they're doing now. And then I'm going to go into some quick fire questions to give everybody who is on the call or who's going to watch it on YouTube or on our social media to get a really good understanding of what the process is, what it can involve, what it can lead to, and why you should apply. So first of all, with your introduction, I'm going to go over to Brandon.
Hey, hi everyone, I'm Brandon. I was the CEO for 1 month in the UK and Ireland in 2021, and since then I've gone on to work for Ezra, which is a startup within the Adecco Group, beginning on a graduate scheme where I did a bit of strategy and business operations and marketing, and more recently have settled into a role in the marketing team as an EMEA marketing coordinator.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Brandon, and congratulations. Now I'm going to go to Lisa.
Yes, Lisa from Germany originally, was country CEO in 2018, continued to go on to the global journey and became global CEO for a month also in 2018. Joined the Adecco Group / Modis, now Acodis, right after, and I've been with the business now about 4.5 years, and currently looking after the Acodis Academy for the UK and the EMEA growth markets region.
And that's a lot. Thank you, Lisa, for sharing that with us. And over to Laura.
I have a little bit of a different journey. I'm still a university student. I study in London. I was the 2022 UK and Ireland country winner, and then I went on to win the 2022 global competition as well.
So you're just starting your journey, Laura, which we will hear more about that shortly. And obviously it's very fresh in your mind because it was only, whilst a lot has happened since then, it was only last summer. So yeah, and Laura will share with us what her journey was and what she hopes for the future. So I'm going to go into the questions, and my first question would be, what attracted you to apply for CEO for 1 month? And I'm going to go first of all to Lisa.
So what attracted me in the beginning, I have to admit, there was no big intention initially, because I applied while I was in my gap year between my bachelor and my master's degree, and the former manager recommended the program to me, said, hey, this could be something for you. So I was all in for the experience, and obviously looking into what I'm able to get in terms of feedback from the group, just experience and build relationships with such senior leadership was then what quickly attracted me to continue with the process. So that was a bit of the story how I joined the program. So very different route from being very goal oriented in the beginning.
But still a great, and we don't mind how people come to it. It's just that we want them to apply and participate in that exciting experience. So I bet you're really grateful to that person for saying, hey, why don't you apply?
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go with the same question now to Laura. So what attracted you to it?
Well, as an undergraduate, there's not a lot of places that you can apply to without having professional experience. And so what attracted me to it was the exposure that you would get to a business without having actual proper professional sort of prior experience when going into the program. Obviously, I did not think that I would go so far, but just the experience itself, only of applying and of getting to like the assessment center in the first couple of weeks, I realized that you genuinely get an understanding of the business. And I think that's what I was expecting from the program, to understand the different sections, the different industries and so forth. So I think that's what truly motivated me to apply.
Amazing. And yeah, and I think it's really important to say that the only criteria is that you have to be 18. And when you applied, Laura, how old were you?
18.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, so you didn't have to have any experience. So anybody who, don't think this isn't for me because, I haven't got swathes of experience, Laura is living proof that you really don't have to have vast amounts of experience. So thank you for sharing that. And finally, Brandon, same question. What attracted you to apply?
Yeah, I think it was a pretty similar story. I mean, well, maybe slightly different in the way that I came to the program than, say, Lisa. I actually didn't think it was real at first, so had to do a bit of digging and can assure everyone in the pool there definitely is a real program. But, having read into the opportunity a bit, I think it was just the exposure to really senior people, similar to what Laura said, with relatively no experience behind me. I don't think there's any other job or internship that you could gain where you'd be sitting at such a senior table, meeting such senior and really experienced people and just being able to soak up all that knowledge so early on in your career. So that was the main motivation.
And what is it that you couldn't believe, the opportunity or the fact that you were going to be paid a CEO's salary for 1 month?
Yeah,
or
well,
both?
Both. To be honest, yeah, I definitely didn't think I'd be commanding anywhere near that kind of salary straight out of university. I mean, I think I did my final exam in June and then the program was in July. So really, really fresh. But yeah, the whole experience was pretty unbelievable.
Amazing. Thank you. Okay, so on to our second question. How would you describe the CEO for 1 month experience and what did you find to be the best part? And I'm going to go to Lisa with that question first.
Obviously, since there was a lot to experience both in Germany and in the global role, there are many things that I could highlight and point out now. But maybe the two most important things that stood out for me, one is within the selection process, so both for Germany and then for the global role, was the continuous feedback that I've gotten in the process. So learning from the jury, getting the feedback to stay authentic, continue to be myself, not worry if I'm not taking a leading role in a team exercise, but thinking about which kind of role I actually have in the team, how I can contribute in other ways than what you would expect usually, right? You would expect like, okay, a little bit of elbows and you want to be CEO and bright, but this is not what the Adecco Group is looking for in a CEO. So to get that feedback, to get a better understanding about how I can take on different roles as a CEO, be the listener, be the enabler, be the facilitator, but also be the decision maker was really, really, really key. I just want to highlight that in this year's process, there's going to be a testing for every applicant, and just getting that insight about yourself, like a psychometric feedback. What is my personality type? And everyone will get a little bit of insight when they apply. So that's something that has been super helpful for me in the past. And then going on to the actual program, obviously what I would love to highlight is the warmth and the trust that you get from the senior leadership to continue on that journey to stay your true self. Because obviously we all want to compare ourselves a little bit and be like, am I doing the right job? Am I doing the best thing possible? But really has taught me or set me up for staying true and finding out where my strengths are. And there's really a place for everyone within the group and the different brands. And just navigating this was amazing for me.
Perfect. Thank you. We were talking earlier about good advice, weren't we? And business advice. And I said about being prepared, and actually more important advice than that is just be yourself. So absolutely, that was sound advice that you received then for sure. Laura, what about you? So how would you describe the experience and what was the best part?
Well, clearly the best is yet to come. I've yet to do the global month. But from my experience so far, throughout, as Lisa said, not only my experience whilst I was the UK and Ireland CEO for 1 month, but also the selection process before and after for the global competition. I think I was in an executive leadership meeting and they described their work as hectic in the best of ways. And I think that sums up my experience so well, because my experience in the UK was slightly different than from other countries. And I think that's worth noting in the sense that I got to shadow all the executive teams, not only the one CEO. And so that exposed me to teams like the finance team, the marketing team, the social impact team, public affairs, basically everything. And I got to meet so many people, roughly 10 to 20 new people every single day. And with that comes such a great learning opportunity, because all of these people come with their experiences and their life stories, and it's just so invaluable. So that was definitely the best part. And I also worth noting is that everybody is so welcoming, and they truly make you feel like home from day one. And I thought that at 18, coming into a business, that would not be the case. And I thought it would be a bit like cold. It would be difficult for me to integrate myself with the business without having that much prior knowledge, but it truly was the exact opposite. So, yeah.
Amazing, thank you. And that is really great feedback as well, because yes, you were exposed to a lot of people, and that's not the same in every country, but actually the value you took from that exposure and that rich experience is really important. And yeah, it's really good feedback from the amazing team that pulled that together for you, so that you got all that exposure. So thank you. I will definitely pass that on for sure. And Brandon, what about you? So what was your how would you describe the experience and the best bit for you?
Yeah, I think I'll just have to echo pretty much what's already been said, to be fair. If I had to describe the experience in one word, it'd just be insightful, both personally and professionally. I think personally, you sort of get the breadth that Laura was speaking about, exposure to so many different leaders and different, well, firstly, almost industries and parts of the business, because there's so many businesses within the Adecco Group, but also different functions as well. So you get to understand, okay, what do I really enjoy? Where do I see myself going in my career? Which is invaluable for me, because I had no clue leaving university what I wanted to do. But then professionally as well, just having exposure to such senior leaders, different leadership styles, ways of communicating, problem solving, anything like that. You really get an understanding of what it means to be a leader, and different ways of approaching it as well. So you can sort of borrow and take things to adapt to your own leadership style, which has been, again, really useful for me.
Amazing, thank you. So next question. How has the CEO for 1 month experience helped you, first of all, with your career aspirations, and secondly, from a personal growth and development perspective? So, Lisa, first of all, from your career aspirations, and then secondly, but no less importantly, your personal growth.
Yeah, it's hard for me to split it, because obviously since I joined the program and the way that the group is, you get immersed pretty quickly personally in both the program, the company, and then later on your job. So I wouldn't say that it was for me either or, like growing in the aspiration like aspect of it. But obviously there's been a massive acceleration, because I was, finishing my bachelor's degree in a gap year. As Brendan said, I had no clue what I wanted to do with my degree. I continued to study then a master's degree part-time next to my role, but growing into a company, and I joined Modus, now Codis, from the get-go. I got to see project management as a role first. It was about building strategic partnerships. My manager quickly detected that I have a thing for sales, so I got into a role which was more leading a small business unit, building it, selling our projects, delivering our projects, building a team, running an own P&L. So all of that. And then obviously, if I look into what I do now, I got the opportunity to have an international career after just 3 years with the business, which allowed me to move to the UK, which I'm eternally grateful for, because obviously next to the professional growth of now looking after the academy and how we re upskill talent, changing company or culture basically, and the company location has been super rich in terms of learning. Just the experiences that you get to make are incredible, and they've been helping me to develop personally and professionally in a very quick way. So I think the last 4.5 years were super intense and very, very rich, making meaningful experiences, building enduring relationships, and taking on transportable skill sets. So keeping myself employable and making myself employable for the future. So it's been amazing, and I can't separate either or. It's just been a very rich experience.
Fine. I don't think you need to worry about not being employable, for sure.
Yeah.
But also, but on a really, it's worth noting as well that this opportunity allows you to basically have a career anywhere in the world, doesn't
Yes.
it? So, it's such a stepping stone to that talent mobility. And if you have those aspirations, it's a great place to be. So thank you. Brandon, same question to you. Career aspirations and personal development.
Yeah, I think I might take both of them together as well. Aside from what I've sort of already spoken about, you build skills just from watching leaders and copying some of those skills essentially, and the opportunity to just explore breadth of interests. I think one of the big things that was surprising for me on the program was the opportunity to build an amazing professional network who are just incredibly supportive sort of throughout your career, from speaking to previous CEOs for 1 month and just always willing to help, guide, mentor wherever needed. To speak to a couple of experiences I've had personally since the program. First, I expressed that I was interested in a separate industry, just wanted to sort of explore it as a career option, and someone within the group helped connect me with someone who works in that industry, and then I ended up getting some work experience out of it, so just a few weeks just to explore and see if it was something that I could be interested in. And it's rare that people in any industry would be so selfless and so just committed to your growth and development that they would support you in that. So that was just an amazing opportunity. And then following that, during the program, I met someone at Ezra, as one of the senior leaders at Ezra, my current company, who we just sort of had a discussion, about an hour-long discussion. And by the end of the conversation, he had literally offered me a role where I'd be able to explore different interests, things that I noted that I wanted to explore and grow my sort of skill set in. And for someone within such a short time frame to just be willing to offer you that experience, offer you a job within their company is just sort of unheard of anywhere else as well. So I think one thing to just bear in mind, even if you don't get all the way through the process, if you just meet a few people along the way, just building that network and maintaining those connections, because you will just meet some of the best, most experienced, most amazing, as well as just most willing to help people that you'll ever meet throughout your career here.
And I think that is such an important point when you look at the networking opportunities and the networks that all of you have created at such an early stage in your career. People who are more senior, more experienced, it would have taken them a lot longer to build that network, particularly if they've been, in the world of work for a long time, when, social networking wasn't even a thing. So, you've had that exposure, but you've been able to build that and catapult it so quickly. So yeah, really powerful. And Laura, career aspirations, gosh, and personal growth, a little bit different for you because you're only just getting started.
Yes, so I just studied politics and international relations at university. And I think within the Adecco Group, I genuinely had no clue about how that interconnects with the business environment. Clearly, I wanted to work within public affairs, but I didn't know how that works within a global company. And so when I came to Adecco, I actually found out about the social impact team and the public affairs teams, and I actually got the chance to work an additional month with them to gain experience and exposure through those two teams. I actually worked on 2 projects. I founded one of the projects that they're working with Purpose Coalition on right now, and having the chance to do that at such an early stage in my career, even before I graduate, is priceless. I've gone to Parliament, I've met MPs, ministers, things that I would have never gotten the chance to do before. So that's just like a snippet of what the program and what Adecco can offer you beyond, as Brandon and Lisa have said, beyond the program and beyond the scope of the company and the scope of your role independently. And yeah, I think I need to echo again just the importance of the people that you meet. From a personal growth perspective, I've met people that have talked on the biggest stages and received some great awards, that have some amazing life achievements, and that are fueled by values that I myself want to sort of explore and internalize as well, including Helen, with whom I worked on a couple of diversity projects with. So I think that is so, it's, as a student or as a recent graduate going into this program, there's no other platform that offers you the opportunities and the exposure and the networking that this program does. So yeah, forever grateful, I guess.
Thank you. And actually there is a huge aspect of reverse mentoring in the program as well, because the perspective that I spent time with all of you, the perspective that you give to us as an organisation is really invaluable as well. So don't underestimate what you're bringing to the CEO for 1 month program as well, and our future participants and winners I'm sure will give us more of the same. So before we wrap up, I've got one final question for you. What advice would you give to anybody thinking of applying for the CEO for 1 month program? And Lisa, I'll come to you.
That's a tricky one. There's so many things to consider, but I would probably say just make the most out of it. So go for it, make the most out of it. At every stage of the selection, there's something in it for you. Just go for it, make the most out of it, and be you. But that's what I said before.
Perfect, thank you. And what one piece of advice would you give, Brandon?
Literally the exact same thing, pretty much. Yeah, I think being yourself is a really huge thing, actually. The recruiters and the interviewers are genuinely looking for authenticity, looking for you to be yourself. And even on the program as well, I think as Helen mentioned, there is a huge aspect of reverse mentoring. So they genuinely want your opinion, your perspective on things, to just give a fresh point of view to the business. So yeah, just be yourself as much as you can, and I'm sure you'll be fine.
Thank you, Brandon. And finally, Laura, what would your advice be?
I need to echo all of that, honestly. I remember watching one of these Q&As even before applying, and it sounded like such a huge cliche, but it's really not, because I feel like whenever you go into like applying to such a program, you're trying to create the best version of yourself that you think matches the business or the role, but that's really not the case. Such like the role of CEO for 1 month is genuinely for them to understand who you are and what your aspirations and values are and how that matches the path, the network that is Adecco. So yeah, just be genuine. Don't sort of tailor yourself to what you think the expectations are. And no matter your age or wherever you are along your career path, or whether you're just starting off, just believe that it's achievable. We're all here standing as Helen said, living proof of this. So yeah, just be genuine.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm just going to quickly check and see if there are any questions from the people in the audience. Do we have any questions, Kelly?
So we've had one so far, and I'm probably sure there's many more coming in. So the first question is, what makes the Adecco Group CEO for 1 month program different to everything else that's out there at the moment?
Good question. Who'd like to take that question?
I don't think it's comparable, because any other internship program is either tailored to a specific route or path. No other program that I know of, or I've heard of, or I've had any of my friends do, it is so completely different in the sense that you're not going in the company to sort of understand one little piece of it and build yourself on that one little piece. Instead, you're going there to discover more about yourself, and discover the business as a whole. And the Adecco Group is such a huge company worldwide, and also on a national level within so many industries and so many branches. Yeah, I can't compare it. I don't think.
Brilliant, thank you. I can see a question in the chat. Hang on, one quick question. How did you find the assessments throughout the journey? Anybody want to take that one? Brandon?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember. It's a little while ago now. What I do remember from them were that you didn't need any particular skill set or anything. You didn't need to sort of do any revision or know anything beforehand. It's really just testing. It's just sort of getting to know who you are and understand your personality and sort of the perspective you bring to the table, really. So I wouldn't be worried about it. I think just go in and be yourself, as we mentioned before. And one of the great things about the assessment process as well is that you get this constant feedback throughout the process. So even if you don't make it all the way to the end, it's 100% worth applying, because you'll just know so much more about yourself and where you can maybe make slight improvements and boost your chances for other opportunities down the line.
Yeah, and that again, that networking, so powerful. It really is. We've got another question in the chat that I can see here, and this is particularly for you, Laura. So it's about applicants who may not yet have finished their educational journey. What are your top 3 successes that we can share with other applicants? So our future pipeline of people who might apply in the future for CEO for 1 month, but maybe can't apply just yet. So applicants who won't initially be looking for that. What are your 3 successes that you could share, I guess, with the younger audience?
Apart from
maybe.
the CEO for 1 month, as in like separate from my CEO for 1 month, or within my CEO for 1 month experience?
I think within your experience, the program.
Okay. So I think my biggest achievement was working with the social impact and public affairs teams and getting to stay on for an extra month.
Yeah.
And I worked on two projects during that. One of them was, I don't know if I'm allowed to say the name, it's still work in progress, but I created the journey mapping for a program that is aiming to target disadvantaged youth and try to understand where along their employment journey they are and how best we can sort of target them with our tools and our resources, depending on what stage they're at. So that was an amazing opportunity that I would have never dreamt to at 18. And then my other achievement, well, again, going to Parliament and actually sitting at a table with MPs and ministers and actually collaborating them on a series of human rights policies that they're working on at the moment. That one was massive for me as well. So those are the 2 biggest ones, I think.
Absolutely. And they're pretty impressive. Okay. So just 2 more questions. How long does the journey take from the application to the Global CEO for 1 month bootcamp? So for this year, I can give some context around that. This year, applications have opened. They opened on the 24th of January. They close on the 18th of April. The assessment centre is on the 25th of May. The UK&I month is the month of July. And then the boot camp, from memory, for Global CEO for 1 month is at the end of that month, or is it in August? Was it in August, Laura? September.
September,
I've just been corrected.
I think it was September, yeah.
So it started now, and Global Bootcamp is in September, but the UK&I month is the month of July. So you need to be available for the month of July to be able to do your CEO for 1 month experience. And my final question is for everybody. So I don't know who wants to go first. I'll come to you in a second. If you could only pick 3 words to describe the whole of CEO for 1 month, what would they be? Lisa.
When I say, I'm going to give the word to Brendan or Laura, I think, first, because it's so hard to come up with unique words. And when I go first now, then I need to come up with more difficult words. So I'm going to give the privilege of starting off maybe to Brendan and buy myself some more time.
Go on then, Brandon. Your 3 words.
Oh gosh, that's really hard. Can we do a word each? That might be a bit easier, but I think one that always comes to mind.
What's your word?
Insightful. I think I mentioned that one before.
Thank you.
Yeah, personally, professionally insightful.
Laura.
Comprehensive. You truly get the breadth and the depth of the company and of your sort of professional ambitions and aspirations within the company as well.
Perfect. Thank you. Come on now, Lisa.
Yeah, probably explorative. I don't know whether that's an English word, but
absolutely.
Just trying to understand the context of yourself, the company, and it's pretty much in line with what Brendan and Laura said. Just a bit of difference, because you can just explore and be yourself. You have no job that you need to do well. You can just be you. Go in, say fancy things, try to make other people understand what your generation wants in the world of work. You can just explore, and there's a lot of freedom in what you can do. So that would be my word.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That brings us to the end of today's podcast. Thank you to Laura, Lisa and Brandon for your participation today. And I'm sure that this will help to inspire people to participate in CEO for 1 month 2023. And so it just leaves me to wish you all the very, very best of luck in your futures. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.